My husband went on a business trip to Paris. When he came back, he was different, distant, restless. One night, he murmured a name in his sleep. My heart pounded. The next day, I found a boarding pass in his jacket. For a flight he never told me about. That night, I set up a romantic dinner and said, "Tell me about her." His fork clattered to his plate. What? I pulled out my phone and showed him a photo, him, holding hands with a woman at a café in France. His face went pale as I said, "She and I had a lovely conversation this morning." His hands trembled as he read the message she sent me. I, 42 female, have been married to my husband Richard, 44 for 18 years. We live in the suburbs outside of Chicago. 2 kids, a dog, normal life. At least that's what I believed until a few weeks ago. This is what happened. About 2 months ago, Richard came home one night from work and said he had to fly out to Paris. Short notice, just a quick business trip. Something about a client summit, restructuring, presentations. Honestly, I tuned out most of it because he travels for work a lot and I've heard all the lingo 100 times. He was leaving that Friday, back by Wednesday. He packed light. Just a carry-on. Said he wouldn't have time for sightseeing. Still, I reminded him to bring me back some of those French chocolates I like. He smiled and said of course. He kissed me goodbye at O'Hare like usual. Hugged the kids. Normal stuff. Everything seemed normal. When he came home, I could feel it right away. His energy. The way he walked into the house, the way he hugged the kids, the way he kissed me like it was a task. His eyes didn't meet mine the same way. No kisses. No cuddles. He wouldn't even brush past me in the kitchen unless I moved first. It was like sharing a house with a polite stranger. I started feeling crazy. I kept telling myself it was in my head. Until that night. We were in bed. He was dead asleep, and I was still up, scrolling through recipes on my phone with the screen dimmed low. He shifted under the covers and said something soft. It was a name. Lore. Not Laura. Lore. Soft and French. I froze. He said it again, almost a whisper. Lore. It wasn't loud. It wasn't clear. But it was unmistakably affectionate. And I just lay there, heart pounding, while my husband, the man who wouldn't look me in the eye anymore, sighed like he missed someone. The next day, I couldn't shake it. I told myself maybe I misheard. Maybe it was just a weird dream. But deep down, I already knew. I waited until he was in the shower and checked the pockets of his suit jacket. Something I've never done before. I don't snoop. I never had a reason to. But in the inside pocket, I found it. A boarding pass. Air France. Paris to Nice. Nice? He never said anything about flying to the south of France. He told me he was in meetings in Paris the whole time. I copied the number and searched online. Found a gallery listing with a contact number that matched. Her name was Laure B. She ran a tiny art gallery in Nice. She had a bio page. Artist, born and raised in France, focused on modern watercolor and landscape pieces. I opened her Instagram. And I almost dropped my phone. There, in one of her recent posts, a photo of my husband. My husband. Sitting at a little cafe table in the sun. Holding her hand. Laughing. It wasn't staged. It was candid. The kind of photo someone posts when they think no one will ever see it but their followers. It was 2 weeks ago. And he was wearing the same shirt I ironed before he packed. I stared at it for 10 minutes. Zoomed in. Zoomed out. Checked every tag, every comment. My hands were shaking. Then I messaged her. I didn't tell her who I was. I said I saw her art, liked her vibe, and had questions. We messaged a bit. She was sweet. Friendly. Then I asked about the man in the photo. I said I was just curious, he looked familiar. I said he reminded me of someone I knew. She replied, "That's Richard. He was visiting from the States. Such a kind man. He told me he's recently divorced. We met here in Nice and just clicked." I couldn't breathe. Divorced? Clicked? She told me they spent a few days together, went to the beach, went dancing, even talked about traveling together again soon. She had no idea he was married. No idea he had kids. No clue that he was lying to both of us. And I told her the truth. When I said I was his wife, her tone changed immediately. She apologized. Said she had no idea. Said she wouldn't have touched him if she'd known. She offered to call me if I wanted to talk. Said she felt sick. I thanked her. Then I put my fork down and said, "Tell me about her." He blinked. What? Lore. The color drained from his face. I pulled out my phone, turned it around, and showed him the photo. She and I had a conversation this morning. His fork clattered against the plate. He didn't say anything. I opened WhatsApp and showed him the chat. Showed him what she told me. That she thought he was divorced. That they spent 4 days together in Nice. That he told her he was starting fresh and looking for a new life. He scrolled. His lips moved but no sound came out. Then he whispered, "I didn't plan it. It just happened." I stared at him. You lied to her. You lied to me. And you lied to our kids. If you read my last post, thank you. I wasn't expecting it to blow up. So many of you reached out, shared your own stories, or just said I see you. That meant more than you know. I'm back now with an update. And no, this isn't the ending. It's just the part where things get messy. He didn't deny it. He didn't try to lie or gaslight me. He just sat there staring at the photo of himself and Lore, hand in hand, as if he forgot anyone else could see it. I said it again, louder, "You told her you were divorced." He whispered, "I didn't mean to." I laughed. I couldn't help it. You didn't mean to? Richard, you flew halfway across the world, lied to a woman's face, and spent 4 days pretending your family doesn't exist. That's not an accident. That's a choice. He didn't argue. He just said he felt stuck, that he didn't recognize himself, and that Lore made him feel free. I asked, "Free from what?" And that's when he said something I'll never forget. "Free from you." I stood up. Walked away. Came back. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I stared at him and asked, "Are you in love with her?" He didn't answer. He just looked down at his hands. That silence told me everything. So I said, "You need to leave." And he did. Packed a bag, left that night. Went to a hotel to think. But what he did next made things so much worse. The next morning, I got a message from Lore. "Hi. I just wanted you to know Richard contacted me again. He told me you knew about us for a long time and that your marriage had been over for years. He said you were vindictive and trying to trap him." I stared at the screen, my fingers frozen. This man, the same one who cried on our wedding day, who held my hand during childbirth, who I trusted for almost 2 decades, was now painting me as some bitter, manipulative wife to cover his own lies. I opened it. No lock. Maybe he got careless. Maybe he wanted to get caught. I saw everything. Photos. Voice notes. Messages. He told Lore he wanted to build a new life in Europe. Said he felt suffocated at home. Said he'd never truly been loved before. I don't remember how long I sat there staring at it. It felt like time stopped. My daughter was standing behind me the whole time. Then she said, "I hate him." He came back the next day. He walked in like it was still his house. Said he needed to talk, that he was ready to explain everything. I didn't speak. I handed him the second phone. He looked at it. Said nothing. Then I said, "You didn't just cheat on me, Richard. You replaced me. In your head, in your heart, in your fantasies. You created a whole new life where I was the villain. And now our daughter knows." He sat down at the kitchen table and put his head in his hands. I watched him for a full minute. Then I asked, "What were you going to do, Richard? Move to France and pretend we never existed?" He looked up. I thought about it. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just a fling. This was something he had planned. Something he fantasized about for months, maybe longer. The phone, the lies, the extra trips I thought were for clients, it all made sense now. I went back through our calendar. Turns out he went to France not once, but 3 times in the past year. Once he told me he was in Toronto. Another time it was Dallas. We're not just broken, we're scattered in pieces I don't know how to fit together again. I thought I'd rage. Scream. Throw plates. I haven't. I just feel hollow. He emailed me. Said you've turned the kids against him. Said he misses me and wants to come back to France. That man, who cried to me in this kitchen, saying he made a mistake, saying he wanted to rebuild, is still trying to juggle 2 lives. 2 stories. 2 women. 2 lies. There's more. But I need a break before I write the rest. If you're new here, I found out my husband of 18 years had an affair while on a business trip to Paris. He secretly flew to Nice to see another woman, Laure, and told her he was divorced. I confronted him. Things got ugly. And just when I thought I knew everything, more came out. It always does. After Laure messaged me that Richard had emailed her again, even after supposedly wanting to fix things, I started digging deeper. Not emotionally. Not to punish him. I wanted truth. I remembered something. Back when we bought our house, Richard set up a separate bank account. Said it was for expenses related to renovations. At the time, I didn't think twice. We had projects going on. I trusted him. He never mentioned it again. That account, the one I hadn't thought about in years, still existed. I checked. There was $41,700 missing. Not a penny used on the house. Not one receipt that made sense. I pulled statements. Months and months of foreign transactions. Hotel names. Wire transfers. Airbnb rentals in Paris, Nice, and once in Marseille. Spa services. One boutique purchase for over $1,200 labeled as Bijoux de Mer. I looked it up. A jewelry store on the Riviera. He was buying her jewelry while telling me we needed to tighten the budget. I shouldn't have done it, but I did. I opened his laptop. He'd left it at the house, assuming I wouldn't look. He used a separate email, a Gmail he never told me about. Guess what the password was? Laure87. Inside were dozens of emails to her. Drafts. Photos. One of him in a bathrobe on a balcony with a glass of wine. One of her wearing a necklace, the same one I saw on the credit card bill. He told her she was his light in a dark world. But the worst part? A draft of an email to a French immigration attorney. It was real. He wasn't just talking about moving to France. He was planning it. The email said, I want to explore options to legally relocate to France. My marriage in the US is essentially over. My partner and I are looking to settle in the South. My partner. He meant Laure. The photos. The email. He turned white. Like actual white, like all the blood drained out of his face. And then, as if he hadn't shattered everything already, he had the nerve to say, I wasn't going to abandon you guys. I just wanted options. Options? You don't get to plan a whole new life and call it options. That's not an option, it's an escape plan. Then he said something I didn't expect. He looked at me and said, Laure might be pregnant. I didn't speak. I just blinked. She said she's late. We weren't trying, but if it's true, I have to be involved. There it was. Not just a betrayal. Not just a lie. But another family forming while mine is falling apart. And he looked at me like I was supposed to understand. Like I was supposed to accept it. A few days later, I was on the phone with his mom. I hadn't told her anything yet, I didn't know how. But then she said, and I quote, I thought he told you about the French woman. My mouth fell open. What are you talking about? He mentioned someone, last Christmas. I assumed it was over. I told him to stop being stupid. Last Christmas. That's 9 months ago. His mother knew. And didn't tell me. I haven't filed yet. Not officially. I'm speaking to a lawyer. Quietly gathering everything. Documentation. Screenshots. Copies. I'm getting everything in line because I know now, this isn't a man who will go quietly. The kids barely speak to him. He keeps saying he wants to work on it, but then I find out he's texting her again the next day. And Laure? She still doesn't know if she's pregnant. But she's not answering his messages anymore. She messaged me privately and said, he fooled me. I'm sorry. I don't want him back. Too late. Damage done. There's more. There's always more. But I'll stop here for now. This isn't over. And this isn't the end. Let me know if you want part 4, because next week, I go to the lawyer. And there's something he doesn't know I found. Yet. Yes, that son. The one who's barely spoken since this whole thing blew up. He was already there, smiling, chatting with cousins, drinking a whiskey like his world wasn't collapsing. My daughter didn't speak to him. My son stayed in the car. I just watched. Then his mom pulled me aside. He said you're going to forgive him. That you just need time. I laughed. Out loud. That's when I knew, he's still lying to everyone. Still pretending. So I did it. I waited until the room was full. After his sister gave her toast. After everyone clapped and the music started. I walked to the middle of the room. Can I say something? Silence. He looked at me. Confused. A little smug. Then I spoke. 18 years. 2 kids. A mortgage. And I didn't even get a warning before you started building a new life behind my back. To everyone here, you should know. Richard didn't go to Paris for work. He lied. He used our savings to fly to Nice and spend 4 days with another woman. He told her he was divorced. Told his kids he was tired. Told me he just needed time. And now? He's emailing immigration lawyers behind our backs. And he might have gotten her pregnant. The room was dead quiet. Someone dropped a glass. His face turned a shade I've never seen, purple? Ash? I don't even know. His mouth opened. Closed. Nothing came out. Then, finally, we should talk about this privately. I said, you lost that privilege. His mom cried. His sister looked like she wanted to slap him. One of his cousins, the only one I ever liked, said, you're a damn fool, man. Richard stood there, surrounded, exposed, humiliated. Then he stormed out. He didn't call for 2 days. Then he sent an email. 1 sentence. You didn't have to do that. I didn't reply. The kids, they're hurt, but they're healing. My daughter talks about college like it's a rocket out of here. My son smiles again, just barely. He didn't just cheat on me. He cracked something in all of us. The worst part? I still miss who he used to be. My family is smaller now. But it's real. It's honest. But it wasn't. There was one more secret I hadn't seen yet. And when I did, I made sure everyone else saw it too. It was my son's 14th birthday. A quiet dinner at my in-laws' house. Small group. Just family. It was already awkward, my daughter refused to come. I told her she didn't have to. Richard showed up. Said he wouldn't miss his son's birthday for anything. I watched him hug our boy. Kiss his head. I watched him sit down and smile and joke with his mom like everything was fine. Like the house wasn't burning down behind him. Then his phone buzzed. He left it on the table while he got up to help his dad carry food from the grill. And I swear to you, I wasn't going to check it. But it lit up. Lore, did you tell her about what we talked about? My stomach turned. I opened it. And there it was. A whole thread. He had told her I blew everything out of proportion. That he was still trapped in a toxic home. That things were calming down. He told her he might visit again in a few months. That he was working on convincing the kids. That he was going to ask me for another chance, just to buy more time. It wasn't just lies. It was strategy. He was using me as a cover story while continuing a full-blown long-distance affair. So I did something I don't regret for a second. Everyone had just sat down. Laughter. Plates being passed. My son opening cards. My in-laws doting on him. And Richard, right next to me, pretending. I stood up. Hey. Can I say something? They all looked up. Sorry to interrupt. I think there's something Richard needs to share with everyone. He looked at me, fork halfway to his mouth. What are you talking about? I smiled. Why don't you tell your parents that Lore just messaged you again? Or should I read it out loud? His mom looked confused. Lore? Yes, I said. The woman he told he was divorced. The one he visited in Nice, not Paris. The woman he's still talking to. Who he told I'm toxic and he's buying time so he can see her again. His fork dropped. Dead silence. I turned the phone toward his dad, the same man who once toasted to our rock-solid marriage. You can scroll, if you want. My son stared at me. His grandma looked like she was about to faint. And Richard? He snapped. He stood up fast. Chair scraped hard. You're insane. That's all he had. You've lost your mind, airing this out like I'm some monster. He reached for the phone. I pulled it back. Don't touch me. You said you wanted to work things out, he barked. You said you wanted to go to counseling. I did. Until I found out that was just another lie. You don't understand what it's like to be pushed away for years. Stop, I cut him off. Don't you dare blame this on me. You walked out before you even packed your bags. All you left behind was a lie and some receipts. You were never trying to fix us. You were just trying to keep me on standby. I loved you, he said. I still do. Then why didn't you choose me? He didn't answer. I finalized the divorce. It's done. He fought a little, tried to get more visitation, some financial leverage, but with the messages, the fake business trips, and proof of financial dishonesty? He had no ground to stand on. He's living in a short-term rental now. Alone. Laura never spoke to him again. She sent me one last message, I hope you find peace. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. I don't hate her. She got fooled too. Some days I still cry. The betrayal wasn't just romantic, it was in every corner of our life. In the kids' drawings on the fridge. In our wedding photo still tucked in the back of a drawer. In the echo of his voice in this house. But you know what else I feel? Relief. I'm not waiting for him to come home anymore. I'm not making excuses for silence. I'm not trying to fix something that only I was holding together. My kids are healing. We're talking more. Laughing more. I even went back to work full-time at the library, and for the first time in a long time I feel alive. Hopeful. Not because everything's fine. It's not. But because now, at least everything is real. I'd rather live in truth and pain than sleep next to a beautiful lie. So to anyone reading this who feels that gut punch and doesn't know what to do, listen to it. You're not crazy. You're waking up. And waking up hurts. But it also saves you.